So this is my idea as a way for the Tempest videography team to branch out into different areas of the videography field, because there's a lot. So, sorry about that terrible selfie, but early this year in October I went to the London SSE Wembley Arena, which is just that one there. Lovely arena, closed arena, got very hot. And I saw Fall Out Boy live. One of America's biggest bands at the moment, very popular in the UK as well. And during the concert I noticed that there are quite a lot of cameramen at the front of the stage. There's that one, and I have highlighted where the cameramen will stand. Now, depending on which band it is, sometimes they do tend to put a stage in the middle of the audience, around about there, and film. I naturally assumed that these cameramen were filming for Fall Out Boy's DVD of their live tour. I know that live tour DVDs can sell for up to 30 quid because I have purchased one myself and had a mini heart attack and hit in the bank account at the price of it. But in the end it was worth it because of the cameraman's position at the stage. They get two different angles from the sides, they get front, and with the cameraman at the back as well, sometimes they do sit at the back, they get a wide. Now that would require about 4 cameramen operating their own cameras and being able to film something live without messing up your shots and making sure you've got everything. So communication would also be key in that area. And these are just some pictures of concert cameramen. They have these big cameras. I don't know where they get them from, but that's that one. So, my concept was that Tempest could start being concert camera crew. I mean, we don't have to start with massive gigs like Fall Out Boy at Wembley because I don't know how we'd get there, but just with small local gigs to begin with. So my proposal is that while school promotional videos is getting our name out there, because it definitely is, and I know Mark has a lot of great new ideas that we can do with school concept videos, which by the sounds of it, sounds very exciting. And I also feel that it's time for this department to expand into wider areas, not just schools and the military, because we could be doing so much more. We have a very talented team. So while school promotional videos and the military Purbright phrase that we do is definitely getting our name out there, more and more people are noticing us. I mean, we've got over 2,000 followers on our Twitter account now. Maybe that's down to Nathan being a social media genius, I don't know, but I feel that this team could do so much more, especially now that we've got projection mapping coming into it, and with 2 apprentices on board as well, it's a way to educate the whole team on doing something different. I mean, we could film Hollywood if we really wanted to, get some aeroplanes in the back garden there. And there's me and Sarah looking awesome, filming at one of the schools there. Yeah, as I said before, we can start with local gigs. This is the Attic Bar venue in Truro, and they hold gigs there for local bands for free. I've got a couple of friends who are in their own bands, and they have before done gigs here. It's a small venue.
The museum in Truro?
It's just opposite the museum, yeah.
Have they rebranded it?
I'm not too sure what it used to be called. I've just always known it as the Attic. But yeah. I mean, it is a small venue. This is the upstairs bit here. It's a small entrance. It's not a very big place to be, but for local bands around the Truro, St Ives, Newquay area, the Attic is the go-to place if you want to do gigs. I've had a few of my friends asking me if I could make them short little videos for them, and that's when the first idea clicked, that Tempest could start doing that. When we start with local bands, we get our name out to our local community, which makes us more known as, hello, yes, we're in Cornwall, this is where our main head office is, and we're here for you. And then my lovely brain of mine decided to go, yeah, in time, I mean, we could go to all these places, because who doesn't want to go to Glastonbury and spend a weekend rocking out to the Rolling Stones or something? Boardmasters, again, that I consider Boardmasters a small local gig because it does happen in Cornwall, it literally happens right on our doorsteps. If you live in Newquay, you ain't going to get to bed till 2 o'clock because the Boardmasters are still going. V Festival is very, very adventurous because it's massive and you get people like the Killers showing up there. Download might not be our cup of tea because that's for your heavy metal rockers, and I don't particularly want to break our cameras because someone's headbanging too much. But those are just some ideas of where we could be if we started doing it. The main one that really stuck out for me was this one, Latitude Festival. I'd never heard of it until I started researching festivals. The great thing about Latitude Festival is the time that it takes place. I know during the July and August time, the videography department quiets down because all the schools are closed, and eventually the military parades stop coming in because they take a break in August. Because it's held in July, it's not too, well, I don't know how fast because I failed geography, but it's there. Latitude also does some really could enhance its own video just for how creative it is. They cover things like art, comedy, poetry, I have no idea what that says, politics, dance and literature, I think that's cabaret. I don't know, English language confuses me. But because they do all that, with all four of our creative minds combined, we could make Latitude Festival's DVDs something that looks so colourful on screen that other festivals could literally be begging us to do it again. It also shows a different side to Tempest. Tempest is a very traditional company. I know most people have worked here for 25 years plus, and maybe it's time to get out in the world and develop as the world is developing as well. Especially with so many new things coming about in the videography world. Like we have drones now, we have 4K cameras, we even have 3D cameras. Well, there's only 3 of them left in the world because while they were filming Batman, they broke one. But yeah, I mean, we could get our hands on one of those if we asked Hollywood really, really nicely. It also expands our audience and market and could also generate more income, not just to the videography department, but also to Tempest as a whole company. And then I have prepared just a little brief about like what the budget would be, because travelling up to festivals and getting licenses could be a little bit costly, but I think in the end we could make our money back from it. Most of our costs will depend on travel time and paying our staff. I've always thought that we wouldn't have to worry about hiring equipment because we always have our own equipment available at hand. I have an equipment list as well. It's just the same equipment that we would normally use for schools. Although maybe if we were going to closed stadium concerts, we might need bigger, better cameras because the stadiums, especially if they're closed roof, can get very, very dark, which would definitely affect our white balance gain and exposure levels there. But that's the only problems I can see with it so far. I know that we do have competition. I know there's a university that trains their students filming live concerts and they stream it to a van and stuff, but I think because Tempest is more professional than university students who are still studying, we might have the upper hand. Yes, they do it for free for the festivals and we would obviously have to charge, but we're more professional because we've done our training, we know what we're doing, and at the end of the day we give them a fully professional product. I'm not quite sure how far the university go with it. I didn't have the chance to look into it fully, but I know that they would be our main competition. Any questions?
So it's something that we can move into because my background's been working at festivals. What we need to do is sell it to festivals as a video package because my main job is running screens on stage. But to be able to then say, but we can supply you camera people and etc., and we can build that in. So we're already in a really good position to be able to do this, which is great, and it's brilliantly brought it up. Promos. If you have a look on YouTube, there's lots of promos, and we need to up our game as far as producing promos goes. Because I mean, what we have at the moment is schools, which doesn't give us lots of sort of fire dancers and jugglers and extravaganzas going on. But if you're looking at promos, every time I've researched a festival, their promos are always really, really well done, and I think we need to aspire to that as a company.
Yeah, in terms of going into that market, you mentioned like this equipment, but in reality, if you're competing with a lot of the other companies that are out there, you're going to need to hire a lot more.
So the big camera that you showed earlier is the reason they have a big camera like that is actually the lens. The big part of it is
that's just the lens.
It's just the lens, and it's because you really the screens you have at festivals, they're called IMAX, image magnification, and it is so that people at the back can see their favourite artist on stage, but massively on the screen, so they can see the whole head on the screen. But to get that you get a weird shot you down in the pit up, so they have a massive wide camera with a stupidly massive lens,
Okay.
and so that is purely the lens just to get a tight close-up shot and a bit of steadiness as well. But definitely, it is something that we should very much try
Yeah,
and push.
I mean, obviously I've got the industry expertise that U3 would have in terms of the technical side of it, but commercially it's always kind of music to my ears when we talk about doing something that isn't associated with schools, because
Mhm.
obviously that's our bread and butter, and it's high volume, kind of low margin stuff. And I think that's the great thing with Jolt really, and videography in general, is it's taking us away from the traditional sort of Tempest is all about schools.
Yeah.
And it's a different market obviously, and so I think we thought it out really well, really good.
I think it's probably, I looked at loads of different markets of videography we could get into, and this was my favourite, but I also thought this one would be the easiest, because I know Cornwall's it's a very musical place. I mean, I haven't lived here that long, but I know it's very music orientated, and there's a lot of local bands coming out, and even the Cornish Pirates turned up to one of the local gigs that I was at.
Yeah.
And I know it's a very big market, especially in Cornwall. And because we are based in Cornwall, it's a chance for us to just connect with the locals around us.
Yeah.
And by word of mouth, it'll spread.
The one thing probably worth adding to your list is probably Eden Sessions as well,
Yeah.
which is the Eden project. Just bought a Lionel Richie tickets last night. It doesn't go outside this room. It's forced.
So streaming, so Eden Project, actually used to do the sessions filming, and they've moved on now. I think YouTube was going to take it on basically as YouTube were going to create an Eden Sessions channel, and everything was going to be live streamed to that, so people, which is a bit for people who bought tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the same as being there, I suppose.
But that's what they were planning on doing. So live streaming is another area that we can move into, which is just an
definitely.
addition. So instead of just going to the screens on stage or making a DVD, it would be streamed
You
on
can stream
things.
live, yeah. So I've
There
just
are-
started up my YouTube channel, and I've noticed that there is a live streaming option where you can film and live stream it straight to your fans. I know that Tempest has got quite a lot of subscribers on YouTube, and especially on our Twitter account, and with the link now you can link your Twitter and YouTube, so as you're live streaming, it's uploading to YouTube at the same time.
Yeah. I think social media, going back to when we didn't have it, it was kind of myself that pushed and said we haven't got a Twitter account, and launched it, and then obviously Nathan took it on, and it's gone really well. But what it's also done is almost reinforced our image
Yes.
in the fact that pretty much all the content is based on schools, and it doesn't do anything to kind of take us away from that. So I think obviously we've got the different brands with Jolt, but that Jolt in the south doesn't take Tempest away from the
No.
schools. It's like it's its own animal, if you like.
It is,
So
yeah.
and I think the more that Tempest does in relation to non-school stuff, the better really.
Definitely.
I think, my personal view is that, with like the videography side of it, is that there's a bit of a gap in just chatting to Ian, understanding what schools would pay for in general. There are some that would pay, but is it really what they want? Anything like this is brilliant. And you're right about the Cornish sort of that organic sort of music scene.
Yeah, definitely, because I know there's a lot of aspiring bands. One of my friend's bands has just completed recording their EP, and they've just entered a competition which they should win to play and download next year.
Right.
And that is a local Cornish band that's going to be appearing at one of the biggest metal concerts in the UK. And if we were to be the first company to say make their promotional video for them, and they were to take that to download with them, that's 5,000 people plus all the bands that are at download, that our name will spread to. Just by word of mouth, because I know the Cornish do like to chat.
Well, often if you if you did create a video for this band, usually a festival will employ a VJ or somebody to be running the screens. So when the band comes on stage, they would negotiate what goes up on the screen. So at that point, then your band can hand the VJ a video and say, play this behind us
Exactly.
throughout the duration of the concert.
And our logo would come up
And
behind
because
it.
of the band, that's what the VJ will do.
And then our logo pops up in front of, on a massive screen behind a local band to a mass audience.
disguise it somewhere.
Yeah.
And we'll just like make little drink holders and just around
You kind of touched on something there as well, which has been, I've never really quite understood. For me, there isn't actually a Tempest brand in terms of a consistent Tempest logo.
No,
Branding.
it's not.
You'll see so many different versions used
I
around
have
business.
seen a lot of different versions of the Tempest logo.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I actually asked someone the other day because you know the sort of the frames, sort of the photos going for schools. It had a TP in it,
Yeah,
and I saw that around my friend's house. I was like, "What company is that?" I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, "Is that Tempest Photography?" I didn't actually recognise the logo because
Yeah.
it wasn't one that was
well, you
It's
even
hard
hear
to-
the business referred to as H Tempest or Tempest
Yeah.
Photography. So
Yeah.
even within the business, we don't even define the name of the business. So
There are
I'm
two
almost
businesses
confused
on
about
there.
that. Do I write H
Oh, I honestly
Tempest
don't know.
Ltd or
Right.
Tempest
the
Photography?
H because it stands for Horace, who
Horace,
was the
yeah.
founder.
yeah, so that's something that'll be a real sort of
Yeah, I mean, I tried to come up with a new logo, but I literally just whipped it up quickly
Jolt or
for Tempest
Tempest.
when it decides to come up. There we go.
Oh yeah, yeah. So but obviously this would
Whipped
probably
up
come
really
under Jolt because when people Google Tempest, they associate it immediately
Mm.
with
With
schools.
schools.
Whereas
yeah.
Jolt, it's kind of limitless. You
Jolt.
can, yeah.
Oh,
I
okay,
think-
cool.
I think that's where Mark will try and push it would be through Jolt.
Yeah.
Through Jolt.
Only because it is just that, yeah, like Sarah was saying, the association with where it is, Tempest and what it does, they're not known for videography, not
No,
known
no,
for
no.
anything. At
Whereas
least
Jolt
we
could
can
be
kind of
anything.
build it
Mm.
Yeah.
from the bottom, whereas it's quite hard to de-associate us from
Yeah.
school's
Yeah.
work.
I mean, I remember Tempest coming into my primary school and taking my primary school pictures, and then again in
Exactly.
secondary school.
That's
and
what
then
everyone
taking
knows Tempest to be. I mean,
Mhm.
we're not well known for video, whereas Jolt, that's what we can build on.
mm.
I could just put Jolt there.
Yeah. Well, we're rebranding Jolt anyway at the moment.
I think Jolt is the rebrand of Tempest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but brilliant.
Yeah, very good. Well done.
Yeah.
So that was my idea.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Well done. Thank you all for coming.